Now we will learn index law 4, that is power on power. Here x to the power x got power m and the whole things got another power n. So let us see what does that mean. Say if we have x to the power 3 and then x power 2. What does that mean actually? We know that a square, that means a to the power 2 means a is multiplied twice. So here if we imagine that x to the power 3 itself is our a, then that got power 2. That means this one, x to the power 3, this whole thing is multiplied twice, because anything power 2 means that itself multiplied twice. So here if we consider this x to the power 3, this whole thing as an a, then there are power 2. So that means this whole thing x to the power 3 is multiplied twice. And then if we use the index law 1, that is same base multiplication, then this power will be added. That means we will get x 3 plus 3, that is x to the power 6. So this x to the power 6 we can write as x to the power these two values multiplication, that means 3 times 2. So therefore if we have a base x and that is raised by power m, and again this whole x to the power m is raised by another power n, then we can write that base times these two powers multiplication, that is m times n. So that does mean that if we have a to the power 5 and to the power 3, that is on a base first power is 5 and the whole thing's power is 3, then we can write it a to the power these two numbers multiplication, that means 5 times 3, that means we can write a to the power 15. Then let us generalize it a little bit, that if we got x to the power 3 to the power 2 and then this whole thing to the power 4, what that does mean actually? If we apply this formula repeatedly, x to the power 3 to the power 2, so this part, if we just calculate this part, we know we will get x to the power 3 to the power 2, so these two power will be multiplied, so it will be x to the power 3 times 2, and then this outer power will remain as it is. So now x to the power 3 times 2, if we consider this power as a single value, that is 6, then x to the power 6 times 4, so these two power, so applying this formula again, so this power and this power will be multiplied, so we will get x to the power 3 times 2 times 4. So that means if we have a base x and there are several powers on top, that means x to the power p1, then the whole power p2, then the whole power p. In this way if we raise the power, then the base will remain as it is and all the powers will be multiplied together. So that means we can say that if we have a to the power 2 to the power 5 to the power 7, then we can write a to the power all these three powers multiplication, that means 2 times 5 times 7. So we will get a to the power 2 times 5 is 10, 10 times, so a to the power 70. So the index law 4 says if we have a base and it powers on power, then this power and power will become multiplication. So let us do some example, it will make our concept clear. Here x to the power 3 to the power 2, so x to the power 3 power on power, so these two power will be multiplied together, so we will get x to the power 3 times 2, 3 times 2, and we got multiplication x to the power 3, so we got x to the power 3 times 2 is 6, x to the power 6 times x to the power 3. Then if we use index law 1, that is a multiplication law, the same base x, this power and power will be added together, so it will be x to the power 6 plus 3, that is x to the power 9. In the second example, we got 2x to the power 3 to the power 0. We know the power 0 formula, that is index law 3, that anything to the power 0 is 1. So this x to the power 3 does not matter what it is, anything to the power 0 is 1. So this part is 1 and multiplied by 2. So 2 times 1 times 3. Here x to the power 3 to the power 2. So power on power. So this 2 will multiply. So it will be x to the power 3 times 2. So we are getting 2 times 3 is 6 and x to the power 3 times 2 is 6.